Hello and welcome to Knowledge by Nature. In today's video, I'm going to show you two things that I have recently picked up for our American history. Now, I have a video on a different resource, and I'll pop it here and then look down below, that is really great as far as it lists a lot of books to use. And so that is really nice. But this is an actual curriculum and different resources that I'm going to be using for America's story, for American history. Now, if this is your first time here, welcome or welcome back. I am a homeschool mom to a fourth grader. We love all things books, homeschool, and sharing our journey with you. And if that is something that you're interested in, I would love if you consider hitting that subscribe button because it's so helpful to that crazy algorithm, and give me a thumbs up because again, YouTube loves it, and so it just helps me so much if you take just a moment to hit that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. Now, this is Masterbooks curriculum, America's Story. Let's look at this one first. Now, there is a teacher's guide that goes with this, but I did not purchase that because, like I said, I already have another curriculum that has a bunch of book lists and some activities in it. Then this, which is a history pocket from Evan Moore, is super cool. And we're going to go through that too. And I actually picked up a few. I may just do a whole video on showing you my history pockets. But let's first look at America's Story. So this is number one, the first one. And so we're going from the ancient Americas to the Great Gold Rush, okay? Now, this is just the student text, but really I'm finding that this is good. Like, I don't know that I would need the teacher's book. I hate to say that yes, I do, or no, I don't, because I haven't actually used it. But we are a couple of lessons into this, and I like this right here. Like, I don't feel like I would need the notebook too much. But again, I'm using other stuff too. So, but that's what I like to do. I like to Frankenstein my stuff, in case you haven't noticed that. All right, so let's look at the table contents here. Let's zoom in. So we start with who lived here first, and then we jump over to Leif Erikson, and then we go to Christopher Columbus, and then we go to different settlements where we're talking about Pocahontas, the pilgrimage, we go to Squanto, and then we kind of go into the life of the colonies. So you do get this little introduction here about really what was happening on this continent well before old Columbus went sailing around, and certainly before pilgrims just were here. So I do like that it did have some background. However, for us, I added even more. So I wanted to talk about this section even more. So again, that goes back to my whole Frankensteining thing where I'm using multiple things. So for that introduction area, I actually was using Core Knowledge, which is a free site, and it really touched on this pre-Columbus really nicely. And so that's what I do, is I bring in different things until it kind of hits where I want it to hit. All right, let's go back here and look at the rest of the contents. All right, let's jump back into these table of contents here. So we were at the life of the colonies, and you can see we're coming down here with William Penn, the power of words, the British are coming. We keep going, and we have the 13 colonies, looking west, the Louisiana Purchase, the War of 1812. Then we come down here with Alamo, and we end with the Great Journey West, part 2. So I'm gonna back this up just a little bit, like that. That way, if you want to pause this, you can see exactly what all is entailed in the contents here. All right, your introduction is, we're talking about who lived here first, which obviously it was not the Pilgrims. And so it goes through a little bit of who was here first, who discovered this first. You know, I think sometimes we think it was Columbus, or we're told it was Columbus, when in all reality it was not. So this does go through that. Now, I don't think I mentioned this at all, but this is from Masterbooks. So if you are not familiar with Masterbooks, it is a Christian curriculum. It is not secular, so you are going to have things such as the Christian Viking. You are going to have things such as verses. Let's see. I know that there's probably a verse in here somewhere. Okay, that one I don't see one, but there is in here. There are Bible verses in here. Now, is it fairly easy to kind of skip over those parts? Probably so. It is in the text as well. So if that is something that you are against, this probably would not be for you, because it is intermingled within the text, and it is, like I said, there are Bible verses in here, although I have yet to run onto one right now. So it's not super heavy with the Bible verses, but I do know that there are some in here. I think, or am I thinking of something else? Okay, maybe the actual Bible verses I'm pulling that from something else, so I apologize. But I do know that it talks heavily about God and God's creation, and how, I know with like Squanto, it was talking about how God was with Squanto during his time of going back and forth between, his old land and the new land, and going back and forth, and being taken away from his home and things like that, and then being brought back to it and being the one that helped the pilgrims. So that part, it is in there for sure, but I may be mistaken on the whole biblical scripture part. But like right here, retell how God used Squanto to help save the pilgrims. I personally were really liking this. I like some of the things that it kind of brings up, and different things that we can look at from that vantage point. But overall, I do like this a lot. You can see it's got a lot of pretty images. It's nice and colorful. It is Charlotte Mason-ish. And so you will see these little narration breaks, which I find very, very helpful. So I will usually read this section here, read all of this to her. We'll look at the images, and then I will have her do the narration. And it even tell what you have learned about the pilgrim so far. So I like that it prompts me to hey, pause for a minute, make sure she's getting all of this before we go on. And then I go ahead usually. So that would probably be a good spot to stop. And likely the teacher's book tells you when to stop. But since I don't have that, if this is where I want to stop for the day, we do. Most of the time we keep going, because I usually like to do one chapter when we do history. And then at the very, very end of the chapter, there's always just a little bit of extra images and information. Let's go to the middle of the book here and see what we've got here. What is this one right here? So we've got chapter 13, the British are coming. So you always have this starting point, kind of a spotlight about what this whole thing is going to be about. And then I usually tell her okay, we should be able to answer these at the end of the lesson. So that kind of gives her a heads up to hey, listen for these kind of things. There is a little timeline that is running along the top. Let's zoom in on that. So here's your little timeline here where you're following along in time with it. It goes on every single one of them. You will have a page with a timeline there, which is kind of handy. Again, more images. It is text heavy, but it's in story form. So it's not really boring. It's talking to the student. It's asking questions within it. We're really, really liking it. And so here would be our narration break where it says, tell how it would feel to live at this time in the colonies. So this has really brought out a lot of conversation about kind of putting ourselves in their position and how it would be, pros and cons to different changes that have happened. And then we would start the next one. So you would have all this section with some images. We would read all of this. We would read all of this, and then we would have a narration break. Now, sometimes I do stop after the second narration break, and then we would do these bluish colored pages the next day with an activity likely from this. So that is the Masterbooks here. So it's just, I like it. It is really, really nice. I can't, again, say anything about the teacher's guide because I don't have it. but it's working perfectly fine. And I snagged this off of eBay for an excellent price, so that was even better. And you can see that we have America's Story 2 and America's Story 3 that go along with this. And this is recommended for grades 3 to 6. However, I could see where you could kind of use this as a little bit younger and a little bit older, depending on what you wanted to add to it. Now, these history pockets. So these history pockets are a new find for me, and they're really, really fun. But this one, I got like, I think five of them maybe off of eBay. But this one is the one that is currently part of what we're learning about in America's Story 1. So that is why I have this one pulled out, but I got some more that will go with us in a later time. And there are all sorts of different ones. You can see ancient Rome here, ancient Egypt, moving west, the Civil War, the American Revolution. I really, really like these. These are fun. So each one you can kind of design as a pocket. If you want, you kind of make a little cute pocket here and you put all the things in there. Now, you are going to need to reproduce these because there are things on the front and the back of them. So if you just go and you cut this thing up, then you're going to ruin this. So keep that in mind, that you will want to make copies of this so that you can use it. We didn't really do too much out of this section yet because it wasn't following the same order that we were doing. So let's go to the part that I did. Here, we did this one right here, the first settlements, where we were talking about the Mayflower. And here is the little Mayflower that we did. And then I made little copies of this. And she actually did a little Mayflower journal, which was super cool. So we split it up into like the first day of the Mayflower, like in the middle of the trip of the Mayflower, and at the end, how a girl would feel on traveling on the Mayflower. And so this was really, really fun. We did that. And then a lot of these things maybe we just read. So I didn't make a map of Jamestown, but we did definitely do the Mayflower. And here is the things that you would like cut out first, make a copy and then cut out. And then I just made extra copies of this to be able to make our little journal thing. So loved that. Really, really fun. And then here we talked about the Mayflower Compact, but we didn't actually like do anything with it. Then we did some work over here with the Native Americans, and we actually did this little piece of corn. And I don't know where that is. I thought I brought that in here with me, but I don't have it. But we did do the dictionary, which you can see at the beginning of right here. So here's the corn, the legend of the three sisters. So you kind of printed this off and you had a cute little corn husk like this. And it had the little Three Sisters legend on there, which later I thought tied in nicely with the story of Squanto, because it goes through and it tells how Squanto taught the Pilgrims how to like farm and garden things to like survive. And it tied in kind of cool with already having known about this. So this was really, really fun conversation, a quick little activity. And then we were able to make a little dictionary, and we're doing this a little bit different where we're just kind of putting some of the things that we've learned. So here she chose to do powwow, and then she put the actual native word that goes with it. And then she did a little like illustration, which this is in pencil against butcher paper. So it's really hard to see. But then one of the other topics was the peace treaty. And so I just made a copy of that, and then we read through the peace treaty. Why was this peace treaty happening? Things like that. Again, that went really, really well with our Squanto section. So we were tying this in. And so that's what I'm using this for, is just a quick, easy little way of adding on a hands-on craft that seems to be connecting really, really well with this. So let me quickly give you the table of contents in this book right here. So this is Colonial America, and there are 8 pockets here. Pocket 1 is the introduction to colonial America. Pocket 2 is the first settlements, the Native Americans, homes and villages, daily life, school, work, and memorable people. And then there's even an evaluation in there if you are interested in it. So it tells you how to use the pockets. You can see here's like some trade cards when you're talking about working on the colony. Let's see, we got a daily schedule, the first school books. We've got some typical handwriting style, which was cursive. So, I also got a quill that we're going to be using later once we get to this section. So again, I just do a lot of Frankenstein stuff, but a lot of fun things. Oh, look here. Here's like little paper dolls that you can create. Make this. That will be super fun. So if you want to make the whole little pocket, it tells you how to do it. We so far haven't really done the pocket. We've done what we wanted to do out of it. If we liked the way this looked, we did it. We didn't make a whole pocket for the Mayflower. We didn't make a whole pocket for this. We just pulled out the activities that we liked and we are doing it. So love both of these resources. It's really, really fun. We're enjoying history immensely. So I hope that you have found this helpful. If you have, give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments about these, be sure and put them down below. It not only helps me, but it helps those that may be watching it that might have some questions about it. So this is America's Story by Masterbooks and History Pockets by Evan Moore. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.